All right. Thank you one more time for joining us in another video session. Please click that notification button. Subscribe to this channel. Help us to serve you well. Help us to help you to subscribe to the channel and then click on that notification button to always get new videos as it's coming from me per time. Thank you very much. So please let's quickly go to the what we are looking at today. Still under our regulatory framework, we have been able to look at the definition, what it implies. We have been able to look at the sources of regulations, and then been able to look at the importance of regulation. These are examinable part of this regulatory framework. Please don't joke with it. If you have not watched the video, please go back and watch the video to have the understanding of what the definition is, the sources, and the importance of regulation. In the last class, we talked about the fact that one of the sources of regulation is the accounting standards. And so in this class, we'll be looking holistically at what accounting standards are, the standard setting bodies, how accounting standards are being set, the importance of accounting standards, as well as the barriers or the barriers to the adoption of accounting standards. So quickly, let's go. Like I've said, we'll be looking at accounting standards. So accounting standards. So when we talk about accounting standard, they are authorized set of principles and guidelines that are coined into an acceptable, generally acceptable accounting principle. They are called the GAP. A general acceptable principle that guides accounting in the way a manner by which they recognize, by which they measure, by which they present and disclose items in the financial reports. That is as simple as that. Nobody will ask you to give definition of what accounting standard is, but just know that that is how it is. So let's really move ahead and look at the accounting standard setting body, the accounting standard setting body. The body that all accountants worldwide subscribe to, whether directly or indirectly, is known as what we call the IFRS Foundation. IFRS Foundation. And then this foundation, it is the apex governing body of accountants worldwide. It is a non-for-profit organization. It was set up to help regulate the practice of accounting worldwide. Then some good, great guys came together and then they help us to have what we call this foundation. The essence is, and so that the regulations can, be binding on members across nations of the earth as you want to subscribe to it. Nobody's forcing anybody to subscribe to whatever it is that the IFRS Foundation is bringing out, but at the same time, it is expected that accountant world should subscribe to this body in order to give credence to the practice of accounting worldwide. And so the IFRS, under the IFRS, we have the IASB. The IASB, that is the International Accounting Standard Board. They used to be the APES before this foundation was formed. They used to be the APES before the foundation was formed, like I said earlier. And then, they report to this foundation at the moment. And so, what the ISB will do, because we can be asked also, please listen, what the ISB, this foundation vested this ISB with the powers. And what they are to do, number one, they are to issue standards. They issue standards. And number two, they ensure compliance to issued standard, ensure compliance to issued standards. Then number three, they also review standards as at when necessary. So this basically forms one of their primary objective. What they do, they issue standard by the power vested in them from IFRS's foundation. They also ensure compliance to the issued standards. Bodies that subscribe should also comply with everything that is detailed in each of the standards. Then we have the review the standards from time to time to ensure that it is applicable in current situation and circumstances of economies of the world. Under this IASB, we also have two other bodies. We have the IFRS AC, that is the Advisory Council. And then we have the IFRS IC, that is the Interpretation Committee. Now, the IFRS AC, that is the Advisory Council of IFRS, they give advice to the ASB where the needs arises, then giving advices, as concerns standards. Then we have the IFRS IC Interpretation Committee. They are the one that interpret the standards where there are ambiguities, or where certainly some set of conflict and confusion sets in. That is what they do. So you can be asked to identify the accounting standard setting body. These are the 5 of them: IFRS Foundation, the IASB, IFRS AC, IFRS IC. This is the summary. You don't need volumes. This is what you need to know and equip yourself with the adequate knowledge that is required. And so we move quickly to how standards are being set. So this is the standard setting body. We look at how standards are being set. How are standards being set? Our accounting standard setting process now. Accounting standard setting process. So we have about 5 processes, so to say. The first one is where there are needs for standard. This is the place that we always begin from. Where there are needs for standard, that is number 1 thing. Is there any need for standard? If there are needs for standard, you move to the next process. The next process is if there is a need for standard, because this will always come where maybe a body or they feel that they should issue a new standard, or that the current standard that is being used need a review. You understand? These are the needs for standard. You understand? So once this is established, we move to what we call drafting of a disclosure document. This disclosure document is talking about the fact that you are now making it, that is IASB is making it known to the general public that a standard is about to be set, or a standard is about to be reviewed. What are their opinions? That is the second step. Now, after these steps, whatever it is that their opinion were, the IASB also review these opinions and put them together. They review the opinion and then put them together. They review the opinion, put them together, and to ensure that the next steps is taking place. Once IASB deem feel that, of course, there is need to set up the standard, what they do next, after having received from the opinion of the people, what they do next is they issue what we call the exposure draft. Issue exposure draft. These exposure draft are issued. These exposure drafts are issued to professional accountant for a review. The exposure draft is just a look-alike of what the draft, the standard itself will look like. The exposure draft, that's what it looks like. It looks like what the standard itself will look like. And so the professional accounting body are the one that review this exposure draft to look at the lacunas and the adequacies of the standards. If there are lacunas, they present it to the IASB for consideration. If IASB deeming feel that okay, there is need to issue the standard, they will go ahead and issue the standard. If there are no needs for them to issue the standard, they repeal this exposure draft or KP it in view, KIV it. So what we are saying is this: the process is just basically 4, but these are the main 3 that you need to know. Is there need for standard? If there is need, okay. Next thing is that you issue a disclosure draft. A disclosure document. If that is if there is need for you, you go ahead for you to, issue what we call accounting standard. The next thing you do is to issue what we call exposure draft, and from exposure draft you issue a standard. You issue the standard. So these are just the standard setting process that you need to know. It's as simple as this. You can be asking your question to identify how accounting standard have been set. So these are just basically how to go about this. And then the next thing we look at is the importance of this uh, uh, accounting standard. What are the importance? What has it added to the accounting practices as a whole? So we can talk about accounting standard benefits. What has it added to the accounting profession as a whole? We have the following. Number one, it has brought about harmonization of report. Harmonization of report. Harmonization of report. Before now, Ghana used to have their own standard. Nigeria used to have their own standard. We have SAS in Nigeria. In Nigeria, standard of accounting standard in Nigeria. In Ghana, I think they have what we call GAS, Ghana Accounting Standards. In UK, they have their UK standards. So all the bodies of the world before now, before convergence into IFRS Foundation and IASB GAPS, each of the body used to have their own standards. But now that we have one body now, everything has been harmonized into one single standard. So all of the bodies, that is where we have what we call convergence and adoption. All of the bodies, they now converge and adopt IFRSs. However, I understand that it's not all the countries of the world that are fully subscribed to this accounting standard that is being issued by IASB. A good example is the United States of America. They have not fully subscribed, and some other countries of the world. The reasons why this is playing out, we'll still look at it in the course of this video. And so that's the first thing, harmonization. It brought about what we call harmonization of report. Another thing again that it brought into play is access to international finance. Access to international finance. Unlike before now, when everybody is producing their financial report according to their standards, where it becomes difficult for accessing international finances. Now that we are fully subscribed, most of the countries of the world are fully subscribed to ISB GAPS. It makes it easier for countries to access international finances. For instance, Nigeria can access finances from the United Kingdom, and then necessarily you don't even need all the hassles, as it were. All that the UK company that want to give you these finances will be requesting for your financial reports, and once you give them your financial report, it is seamless for them to analyze it because the Nigeria and UK, we are fully subscribed to the IASB GAP, so it's easier for them to analyze your financial report, and whatever is there, you see them, they will give it. You see that they will analyze it, they will be able to come up with a good decision, as it were. And so understand that this is very, very important to why we also prepare financial reports. You don't just prepare financial reports for preparing sake or for rendering or see what you go. It should also be something that will be able to give you access to finances outside your area of operations. Number three, importance of what accounting standard has given to the practice is that it has created what we call check and balances. It has really created what we call check and balances. It's a checker. It has become an automated checker for the practices, as it were. What you need to just subscribe to, so that anybody can just, if you prepare the wrong way, anybody can query what you have prepared. So that is one of the things that they has given to us. And then number three, what does the accounting standard given to the accounting profession as it were? Number one, and number four, it has enhanced the quality of information information on financial report. You understand now? So this one is self-explanatory as well. The quality of information that is provided now on the financial report in the financial report is now enhanced for adequate decision making. So that being said, everything that has its own advantage also has its own disadvantage. I can understand that adoption also have its own demerits as it were. And so let's really look at that because it can be asked. We know it is good. What do you consider as the barriers why some of the nations of the world have not adopted the IASB guides or the accounting standard IFRS? So let's quickly look at the accounting standard demerits. Demerits. Accounting standard demerits. So number one is demerits. Let's just put it that way, the way you understand the adoption demerits or barriers. So one of it is that it is expensive to adopt, to converge. It is expensive to converge, or adopt IASB IFRS. So it is always expensive to convert if you don't have the money. Like some countries of the world today, they're not able to fully subscribe or they've not even adopt this accounting standard because it is expensive. They don't have the financial wherewithal and to subscribe. Another one barrier is a conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Then this conflict of interest talks about the fact that some countries of the world they still see their gaps as being more superior to the IASB gap. A good example is the United States of America, where they believe that the US gap is still much more superior and to the IASB gaps. And so that is also one of the barrier of full adoption of for accounting standards by accounting practicing bodies worldwide. Another one is egocentrism. Just like I've explained in this conflict of interest. US now the pride is there. They believe that their God is more better off. And then they ensure that, let me not use the word force, they ensure that accountants or whoever is preparing financial reporting in the United States subscribe fully to the United States GAAP. So that egocentrism, that pride is also there. So it's one of the reasons why you are having full adoptions demerit. Another one is the fact that some country, preference is of some country to use their laws. Example also is China and some of the Asian countries. Although they are partly subscribed to IASB, but they are part of the preparation of their financial report that they subscribe. They subject the entities within their jurisdiction to ensure that they comply with the laws of the land. And you know that, of course, the laws will always supersede the accounting principles or accounting standards as it were. So these are the demerits of the adoption of accounting standards. And so in our next video, we look at the concept of principle based and principle-based and the rule-based financial report. Why are we looking at that now? Because students have asked me over time, are accounting standards laws? We will answer that question in our next video. Please look forward to the video and then you will enjoy the class. Thank you one more time for listening, and I hope you have learned something here. Please go back over and again watch the video to have the understanding. You can be asked questions on what we have treated, and I know that having watched this video, you must give it to them the way they want it, and you must hand your mark fully and then qualify as a chartered accountant. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.